So you're doom scrolling on Zillow or Redfin in the middle of the night and you find a house that you really like that's about $700,000, but you're not sure if you can actually afford it. That's okay. My name is Hunter. I'm a loan officer. I'm going to teach you how to calculate your own debt to income ratio using the same exact tools that I use as a licensed loan officer. Now, full disclosure, this is not a pre-approval whatsoever. This is simply you giving yourself a good idea of where you sit regarding affordability before you take the next step and get pre-approved to start looking for homes. So step number one is you're going to calculate the proposed mortgage payment. I recommend just Googling mortgage calculator or my mortgage payment calculator. A bunch of different sites pop up. I use bankrate.com or mortgagecalculator.org. There's tons of different ones. They're all going to give you the same answer. So I'm going to use my own scenario here to explain to you how exactly this whole process works. So we're going to go with a $700,000 purchase price, 10% down. We're going to use PMI at 0.5%, $10,000 a year in taxes, $1,800 a year in insurance, and we're going to use an interest rate of 5.5%. So when you plug all that information in, the monthly payment's going to come out to $4,823. So now that we have that information, let's move on to actually calculating the debt to income ratio. So let's define quickly what the DTI is. The debt to income ratio is broken up into two different parts, the front end and the back end. The front end is how much money that you make versus the proposed mortgage payment. The back end ratio is how much money do you make versus all of your other debt that you have plus the proposed mortgage payment. That's going to make your front end and your back end debt to income ratio. So now let's take a look at your monthly income. This is going to be before your taxes, your gross income. For my example, I'm going to say that you make $11,300 a month. Now I want you to start totaling up all the monthly debts that you have. That's going to be the minimum payments that you have on credit cards, or if you have any car loans, or your student loan payments, we're going to add that onto there, or anything that's garnished from your paycheck, like alimony or child support. Now, a quick note about student loans. If your payments are currently being deferred, FHA takes 0.5% of the total amount that you have, and conventional takes 1%. So let's say that you have $20,000 of student loan debt. FHA is going to take $100, add it against your monthly debt, and conventional will take $200. Now let's say after adding up all of your monthly debts that you have, it comes out to be $750. That's going to be without the mortgage payment. Now, if we take $750 and we add that proposed mortgage payment that we came up with, the total debt that you would have is $5,573. That's with your current debt and with the proposed mortgage payment. So if we take your front end ratio, your gross income, dividing that by the mortgage payment, is going to give you a 43 front end ratio. Now let's take a look at your back end ratio. We're going to take your gross income and put that against the proposed mortgage payment, also including your current monthly debts. In this scenario, your back-end ratio is a 49. This is going to make your DTI ratio 43 to 49. So if this is your exact scenario somehow, which would be really weird, but awesome at the same time, because this is a conforming DTI ratio for both conventional and FHA mortgages. However, I do want you guys to keep in mind when you're calculating your own DTI ratio that there is maximums for both conventional and FHA. For conventional mortgages, the front end isn't necessarily defined, but if it goes over 50, then you're going to start having problems. I would just try to keep your front end ratio at a 45 for now, and the back end ratio maxes out at 50.49. Now let's say that you want to do an FHA mortgage. The maximum DTI is going to be a 47 front end and a 56.99 back end. So I hope you can use this information to make yourself a little bit more prepared for the home buying process. Again, my name is Hunter. I'm going to leave my information on the screen if you want to reach out to me directly, if you are seeking a pre-approval. And if you have any questions, leave them down in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.